so don't worry about it too much, but make sure you have a highlighter. Go to 65, please. I know you're tired, but I need to start this at least. We have a quiz on Friday. I put that on there this Friday, so that'll be everything up to a Thursday that we will have covered. And here it is. Fuel economy / operating costs. We're going to focus on fuel economy today. This formula is on your study sheet, but fuel economy is found by going liters used divided by kilometers driven times 100, right? The answer is in liters per 100 kilometers, sometimes referred to as the fuel consumption or fuel economy, same thing. Here is a higher fuel economy, right? It's a higher cost of driving, right? The more liters your car uses, the more you're gonna have to pay for gas. A smaller fuel economy results in lower cost of driving, right? So you want to look for a low fuel economy if at all possible. A fuel economy of 7.4 liters per 100 kilometers means that you're using 7.4 liters to travel 100 kilometers. So for every 100 kilometers, you'll be using 7.4 liters. Fuel economy will vary on when you drive. Do you drive rush hour, or is it when you can just cruise through green lights? Rush hour, you're going to stop and go, stop and go. You use more fuel there. How you drive, if you're the driver that as soon as a green light, you just like take off full speed and only to meet me again at the next red light, right? Because I'm older already, I don't rush. I know there's another red light coming, but jackrabbit, right? Like if you're driving like that, you're going to use more. Types of equipment you have, the condition of the vehicle, and you name it. Whether you go highway or city, that all changes. I want to say this also, highlight this. The labels will tell you the city and the highway fuel economy. And I have a sample up here. Come with me to the very top corner. That's exactly what you see on the new vehicles. It'll be posted on the window. I haven't been to the mall in ages, but they used to have like brand new cars there that you can win when you buy a raffle ticket. Usually this is somewhere in the window, they'll have this there. So watch this. There's Canada and then there's the US, miles per gallon. We focus on, right, this. And so you can see there that highway, watch this, highway uses less fuel than city. And so what they post is an average, even though most of us live in the city. So we should really be looking at, it's like the car is probably going to be using 10.7 or more, because most of us, when we work, we are stuck in rush hour traffic. They don't test the vehicles in rush hour traffic. They test it on like a nice condition turf. Okay, let's do some math. Math. Go to 66. I promise you, if you pay attention, like whatever energy you have in you, please bring it up now. Okay, I'll just show you a few examples and then you're good to go. A car is driven 280 kilometers, right? And uses this much gas. Determine the fuel economy of the car. Oh, this is a slam dunk, guys. Fuel economy is liters divided by distance times 100 times 100, right? I'll show you this formula is actually on your formula sheet. So if you don't want to use up precious study sheet space, it's right there. So you don't need to have this on your study sheet. For some reason, they chose to give you that one. So liters, no problem, 26.78 liters over 280.2 kilometers, and you multiply that by 100. And next thing you know, you have the answer. Let's write this down, okay? 26.78 divided by 280.2 times 100. There it is, rounded to 2 decimals, 9.56 liters per 100 kilometers. This is the fuel economy of this particular car. Okay. This is what I always do. You can take it or leave it, but I have on my dashboard, I have like an odometer. You know what an odometer is? It reads, right? It reads my the kilometers. So I have a trip option, trip. So I zero it. So I go 0 kilometers, I reset it, and then I drive around, right? So days go by, 2 weeks maybe, and let's say I drove 352.8 kilometers, right? I will gas up at that point and see how many liters I've spent or used to drive this distance. Get it? Right? So obviously when I'm at 0, I have a full tank. I drive, and when I fuel up, I look at this, and then I look at how many liters the pump shows, and this tells me how many I've driven. So then you can do this math, right? I drove 352 kilometers. I used, 30 liters times 100, and then you know what your car is consuming on average. That's a complete aside. Okay, watch this. B and C are dependent on A. Okay, watch this. How much fuel would you need to drive 1,500 kilometers? How much fuel? So they're asking for that. You need to start with something you know. You know this is true. So 9.56 liters for every 100 kilometers. All right, watch this proportion. Therefore, if I'm planning on driving 1,500 kilometers, which is going to go in the denominator, because I have the kilometers in the denominator on the left side, I will figure out how many liters I need to make that trip. Right? So you go to Google Maps and you want to go to, Vancouver, and you look up how many kilometers. Like, this is how you would do it. So X is equal to, did I do proportions with you guys? Did I do this kind of stuff? Start. So the trick is you go to your variable, start with the number. It's down here, right? So you're going to go cross, multiply, and then you're going to divide as your next step. This is just to help you remember. So 1,500, right, multiplies 9.56, and then you divide by 100. I am very sure your teachers in grade 10 and grade 11 use proportional reasoning. If not, I have to have a word with them. Right? 1,500 times 9.56 divided by 100. If you need a review, that's okay. You need 143.4 liters. Where did you get this from? Let me highlight that. Right, so this followed you here, right? Like that's how I started my whole setup. This was known to me from the previous question. So once you have the fuel economy, it's gold to figure out anything else you would like to know. Okay, next. What distance could you travel on a full tank that is 70 liters? Watch this. You start with the fuel economy, because that is true. Once you figure that out, it doesn't change. And then you're going to say, okay, I know this is true, So if I have 70 liters, where will the liters go? In the numerator, top, right? Because I have liters on top. So the key with this is you need to match your units. And so we will call this X number of kilometers. And the way it worked out, my variable's on the right side. That's where I start my journey. I go to the number. Careful, right? Number is up here. So you cross multiply. And then you divide. This is going to come back quite a few times yet. So get comfortable with that. So 70 times 100. Right, you got to multiply these two. You can go 100 times 70 or 70 times 100. It's up to you. But you must divide by 9.56. That is a must. So here we go. 70 times 100 divided by 9.56. 732.22. What am I finding? Watch this, right? You're finding the bottom variable, which corresponds to kilometers. So this is how far you could drive with a full tank. In theory, you would obviously not want to risk it, right? You would probably want to gas up at 650 kilometers. If I wouldn't go right till the end, right? You don't know. So again, can I just, I'm just going to branch off of this one. And just say, hey, I used the fuel economy again, right? This is the fuel economy that you used, fuel economy that got you started. If you remember that, everything else goes smooth, okay? What is gas right now? Anybody check the gas prices? 1.65? 1.65. Yikes. So if you need to gas up 143 liters, I would 0.4 times 1.65. It would cost you $236 to fill up. One thing about this, because it's going to come up, taxes, you never add taxes to fuel. The price you see at the pump has a bunch of taxes already in it. The carbon tax. The province gets some, the feds get some, everybody gets some of that 1.65, right? So never add taxes to gas prices. It's already taxed. What you see is what you pay. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And yeah, we're just going to